Welcome back to the Methodcast, your warm corner of truth-telling, reflection, and freedom talk. Pull up a chair, take a deep breath, and let's dig into something that runs deep in the veins of addiction: self-serving excuses. You know, those little lines we whisper to ourselves when we're about to cross the red line again. Those reasons we clutch at in the moment, convincing ourselves we're justified, when deep down in the marrow of our being, we know we're lying. Let's call them what they are: myths, stories we invent to soften the blow of choices we're not proud of. At the surface, they feel like shields. This is why I do what I do. This is why it's okay. But peel back that surface and you'll find emptiness. Because here's the secret every user knows but rarely admits: excuses don't actually fulfill you. They don't fix the gnawing hunger. They don't soothe the shame. They don't bring peace. They just delay the reckoning, pushing it down the road, while the craving and the guilt come back stronger. One of the most common excuses is this: if I don't have it every few days, the pressure builds up. Ah yes, the pressure myth. It makes it sound biological, inevitable, like a steam valve that has to be released before the system explodes. But the easy peasy method slices right through this lie, because here's the reality: the pressure isn't natural. It's manufactured by the very act of using. Every time you feed the craving, you teach your brain to expect another fix. You don't relieve pressure, you create it. It's like scratching a mosquito bite. Sure, it feels good for a second, but the more you scratch, the itchier and more inflamed it gets. The so-called release isn't a natural need. It's the ending of a discomfort that porn itself planted. Then there's the old chestnut: I am oversexed and have to meet my needs. This one plays directly into the survival instinct, as if watching pixels on a screen is as vital as drinking water or breathing air. But think about it. If sexuality were truly uncontrollable, if men or women were truly oversexed, the world would be chaos. People would be collapsing on the streets in desperation. But that doesn't happen, because sexuality is not a runaway train. It's influenced, shaped, and yes, hijacked by conditioning. When you're in the porn trap, it feels like survival, but it isn't survival, it's slavery. Easy Peasy makes it clear: what you think of as a biological need is just a conditioned craving, and conditioning can be dismantled. Now let's step into the murkier territory of relational excuses. What she doesn't know won't hurt. This one is as old as time. It leans on secrecy as if secrecy is some kind of moral shield. But the problem isn't whether she knows. The problem is that you know. Every secret you keep digs a deeper trench between you and intimacy. You can't hide from yourself. And deep down, you feel the split. That split is why the guilt festers. Easy Peasy says that freedom isn't about avoiding consequences. It's about seeing that there's nothing worth hiding in the first place, because the benefit was an illusion all along. Then we hear she really enjoyed it, asked for it, deserved it. This one is sticky because it bends reality to justify desire. It's the addict's way of saying, but I'm not just doing this for me, it's mutual. But if you listen carefully, it's still self-serving. It's about creating a narrative that makes the compulsion look noble. Yet once the high fades, the emptiness returns, and the mutual story dissolves. That's when you feel the sharp contrast between illusion and reality. Here's another common one: with the stress I'm under, I deserve it. Ah, the self-pity pass. Life is hard, stress piles up, and suddenly porn becomes a medal of endurance. I worked hard, so I get this. But let's be brutally honest. Did it ever actually work? Did porn ever truly relieve stress? Or did it just add another layer of anxiety, shame, and depletion on top of the pile? The addict brain sells the lie of reward, but Easy Peasy reminds us: it's not pleasure, it's the ending of pain. If you really deserved something, wouldn't it be peace? Wouldn't it be joy? Wouldn't it be freedom instead of bondage? And then we hit the dangerous ground of blame shifting. I couldn't help it given how she acted. Or the even darker version: women always pretend they don't want it when they do. These are not just excuses, they're distortions that hand over your power to external circumstances. They say, I'm not responsible, I was provoked, I was helpless. But here's the truth: you are never helpless. Addiction thrives on convincing you that you are, because once you believe that, you stop resisting. Easy Peasy demolishes this lie by exposing it as brainwashing. The craving says, you can't resist me, but cravings are just thoughts, and thoughts are not commands. You don't have to act on them, and the moment you see that, you reclaim your power. What's fascinating about all these excuses is how they connect compulsive sexuality with survival. They frame porn as if it's oxygen, as if going without it would suffocate you. And that's exactly how the trap keeps you locked in, by tying craving to life itself. But freedom begins when you see the absurdity of that. Porn isn't oxygen, it isn't food, it isn't water, it's a trick, a hijacking of your reward system that convinces you you'll die without it. When in fact, the opposite is true. You thrive without it. Let me give you a simple analogy. Imagine someone convinced that scratching their arm every hour is essential for survival. They feel tension if they don't scratch, so they scratch, and it feels better for a moment. They interpret that as proof. See, I needed to scratch. I couldn't survive without it. But what they don't realize is that the itch is caused by the constant scratching. If they simply stopped, the skin would heal and the compulsion would vanish. That's porn. That's addiction. And that's why the Easy Peasy method calls it a trap, not a need. Now, how do you escape these excuses? By dismantling the lie that sits beneath all of them. And that lie is this: porn gives me something of value. That's it. Every excuse is just a different mask for that one belief. It relieves pressure. It fulfills my needs. It rewards me for stress. It's harmless if no one knows. All of it is window dressing on the same rotten core. The illusion that porn is a benefit. The Easy Peasy method dismantles myths not by shaming you or forcing you to wrestle cravings, but by showing you the truth. There is nothing to give up. There is no real pleasure, no real benefit, no real relief. You're not losing anything, you're escaping a trap. And once you see that clearly, the excuses collapse. You don't have to fight them because they lose their power. Think of it like a magic trick. When you don't know the sleight of hand, it looks convincing. You believe the coin disappeared. You believe the illusion. But once someone shows you the trick, the hidden move, the distraction, you can never unsee it. The next time you watch, it looks fake. That's what Easy Peasy does. It reveals the trick behind the excuses. And once you see it, you can't be fooled again. So here's the invitation. The next time your brain starts whispering one of those lines, I need it for pressure release, I deserve it after today, I couldn't help it, pause. Don't argue, don't fight, just notice. Ask yourself, is this really true, or is this just the trap talking? And as you keep asking, the lies start unraveling. That's when freedom starts to feel less like a distant dream and more like your birthright. Because it is. You were not born to be chained to excuses. You were not born to be a slave to cravings. You were born to be free, whole, and fully alive. So if you're listening right now, let me say it clearly. You don't need porn. You don't need the excuses. You don't need the shame. You only need the clarity to see through the illusion. And once you see it, once you truly see it, freedom is not hard. It's easy. It's natural. It's yours. That's the heart of the Methodcast today. Excuses are just myths. Myths are just illusions, and illusions dissolve the moment you stop believing them. Easy Peasy isn't about willpower, it's about sight. It's about seeing the prison walls for what they are, cardboard. And when you push, they fall. So stop chasing excuses, start embracing truth, and watch as the life you've been longing for finally fully comes to meet you.